Hello friends, I hope you all are doing well. Today I wanted to share with you guys what I picked up during the Sephora VIB sale. I did get quite a few goodies. I'm really excited about these products and I wanted to share them with my makeup besties. Let me know in the comments what you picked up from the sale. I'm super curious. And yeah, without further ado, let's just go ahead and talk makeup hauls. First things first, we're going to clip this hair back. I wanted to apologize because I know it's been a while since I posted a video. I did recently have abdominal surgery, so I was in the hospital for a couple days and I've been recovering, so thank you guys so much for bearing with me. I'm so sorry for the little hiatus on my channel, but I'm super excited to be back to filming and doing some more content. I have a lot of things that I need to catch up on. If I seem a little low energy or just out of it, again, I'm still recovering from surgery, so be patient with me. I wanted to mention that when I was in the store, I got this cute little mini tote bag, which I just think is so stinking adorable. It's actually really thick, so it was like a little free gift with purchase, which I thought was nice. Okay, so a couple non-makeup things that I got. I did get this Beautyblender Besties Icon Kit. This was actually on sale, not the Sephora VIB sale, but it was in the sale section. I've never tried the Beautyblender, so I thought this was a really great opportunity. You get a beauty cleanser solid. It looks like just a mini thing of soap. You get the actual Beautyblender makeup sponge, a silicone cleansing scrub mat, primer packet sample, and this little pouch that you can store your beauty blender in to travel. It has some holes so you get some ventilation so your sponge is not going to get all moldy and dirty and crusty. There's a little zipper. It's a nice thick plastic, but it has some give to it. And again, inside you have the little soap. It looks kind of like the soap you get at a hotel, honestly. Here's the little pad. Oh, that's so cute. It's got a little heart in it and it is textured. And here's the sponge pre-wet. It's actually pretty tiny, but it feels nice and squishy and soft. I'm actually not a big sponge person, but the Beautyblender is one of those iconic products that I just really wanted to try. And I like the idea of getting the little pouch as well, which is just really nice for traveling, because half the time when I travel with my sponge, I just chuck it in my makeup bag and it's not really protected, which is low-key kind of grimy. So I thought this was a really cute little pickup. Another non-makeup pickup was this Farmacy Green Clean Makeup Melt Away Cleansing Balm. This got me. I was in the checkout line and it was in the little kiosk with all the samples and whatnot. Those things always get me. And I've actually heard really great things about Farmacy as a brand and this makeup cleansing balm in general. The marketing got me. I was influenced by multiple people online who have talked about this and it said how effective it is. It says it has moringa extract to help purify skin by removing impurities and pollution residue. A nourishing facial cleansing balm that melts away makeup and pollution residue. Even the boldest eye makeup and long-wearing foundation are easily removed, leaving skin hydrated and silky smooth. It's paraben-free, formaldehyde, donor-free, synthetic fragrance-free, phthalate-free, mineral oil-free, and cruelty-free. You get a little spatula, which is nice to scoop out the product. Honestly, I usually lose these little spatulas and I just end up going in with my finger, which is not the most hygienic. Here's what the product looks like. It's a nice cucumber green color. It's much thicker than I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting. I usually don't use makeup cleansing balms. I'll keep you updated and let you know how this goes, but I'm really excited to try some fancy skincare. I got this little free birthday gift because my birthday is in November and it's actually a really nice birthday gift. You get the Summer Fridays Jet Lag Mask and a mini of the Lip Butter Balm. They're both minis, but it seems like you're gonna have enough product to really test it out and see how it works for you. I did apply the Lip Butter Balm and it feels really, really nice on the lips. It's thicker than I was expecting and ultra shiny. It smells like cupcakes. It feels very nourishing. I know everyone raves about this and I'm a little bit skeptical of spending $20 on a lip balm, but I can't deny that it feels very, very good. I'll let you know as I continue to use it if it really makes a difference, if I notice it hydrating my lips better than other treatments that I have. And I'll probably try this tonight too. The jet lag mask is an older product from Summer Fridays, but again, I've heard the skincare girlies, some of the YouTube channels that focus on skincare talking about this, and I was intrigued to try it. I mean, it was free, so I thought, why the heck not? And then the rest of the stuff that I got is makeup. I didn't get a new primer or foundation, so I went ahead and already applied my primer and foundation. I just went with the Benefit Professional Primer and then my Fenty Beauty Soft Lit Hydrating Foundation over top. This is in the shade 150N. I also did a little bit of powder through my brows, and that is all that I have so far. So I did pick up a concealer. It's not a new formula to me, but it is a new shade. If you've been watching my videos, you know how obsessed I have been with the Tower 28 Swipe Right Serum Concealer. Initially, I picked up the shade BU, which does work for me, but it's just a hint light for my skin, so I wanted to get something just a wee bit darker. So I picked up the shade 4 dtla. I think today I might mix them. This looks like it's going to be a pretty spot-on match to my skin, but maybe slightly dark. I love this concealer because it's super thin, but it gives you great coverage. I would say high medium coverage. It's hydrating but not greasy. It doesn't excessively crease on me. It stays put throughout the day. It's just everything that I want in a concealer and more. It's really, really beautiful. So again, this is the shade dtla. It looks like it's going to be a pretty good match. Not so much for brightening, but just for blending into my skin tone for spot concealing. I think it's going to be really good. And you can see it blends out super easily. I have dry under eyes that have some hollowness to them, so a lot of times I want something that's hydrating, but a lot of hydrating concealers can emphasize the hollowness under my eyes, and this one is just so smoothing while not being drying at all. It's just so good. It might even be like my new favorite. My previous favorite was the Natasha Denona High Glam Concealer, and I still love this one. This is more full coverage than the Tower 28, but it is a bit thicker, so it can look a little heavy if you apply too much, or, you know, just the longer you wear it. It just doesn't always look as seamless as this one. This one doesn't have as much coverage, but sometimes I'd rather have less coverage for a less heavy look, if that makes sense. It reminds me a lot, actually, of one of my other favorites, the Joa Under Eye Perfect Complexion Serum Concealer, because it's very smoothing. It sort of sets itself, but it's hydrating. It's just one of those perfect middle-of-the-road concealers, and I actually think it'll work for a lot of different skin types because of that. It's not too matte, it's not too dewy, it's not too light coverage, it's not too full coverage. It's just a really great everything for everyone concealer. Just adding a little bit more. I'll go ahead and apply a little bit of BU next to it so you can just see the difference. I'm happy that I have two shades now because, again, it's one of my favorite formulas. Alright, I put the hair up because it was driving me bananas, and I just did a quick, simple eye look using the Cosmic Brushes Undergrowth palette. I love this palette. It's just so gorgeous, and it's really, really beautiful, good quality. I have a whole video on my channel if you're interested in swatches and whatnot, but I do have an eyeliner and a mascara to test. I didn't have eyeshadow, which is why I just used an old palette, but I do have a new eyeliner and mascara. So the eyeliner is from Sephora Collection. This is their 12-hour colorful contour eye pencil. It's waterproof, made in France, and I got the shade Black Lace. I have swatched this, and it is super, super, super duper creamy and very pigmented. I'm always on the lookout. I always need a new black eyeliner, so I'm really excited to try this. And I did want to try some more stuff from Sephora Collection because it's 30% off during the sale, so I figured, why not? I'm going to pop this in the waterline. You can see how black that is. Very creamy. And I'll leave a note in the description box if I notice that fading off quickly throughout the day. I'll put some wear notes. And then I'm just going to take a little tiny brush and ever so slightly blend just in between my lashes. I'm gonna apply a little bit to my upper waterline as well. Whew. That's my least favorite part of doing my makeup, but it really makes a difference. I'm gonna take a really tiny brush. It's kind of a flat slash angled brush, and I'm just gonna use that to get really tight in between my lashes. Really press that in between the lashes. Actually, I think this one's too flimsy. This one's from the Morphe x Ariel collab. I love these brushes. This is the A16, and I'm just gonna really try to get in between those lashes. And I'm applying it to the brush rather than straight onto my lid because I don't want it to be too intense. So I just find I usually have more control this way. For the inner corner, I'm taking this little angled precise brush from Morphe. It's the M217. That's nice. Nice and dark, blends easily. We'll see how it wears. Black eyeliner is one of those things that I personally use all the time, especially to tightline, just to make my lashes appear a little bit thicker. But I go through them so quickly that I don't really want to have to spend a lot of money on an eyeliner, but I also want it to perform really well because it is such a staple product. So if this blends easily, if it stays in place, and it remains this pigmented, I will be a happy camper. It's also so far not irritating my eyes. I do have very sensitive eyes, and a lot of eyeliners, especially eyeliners from the drugstore, can kind of burn my eyes, which is not ideal. So I do like that this one seems to be sensitive eye safe so far. I'll also have to test just applying it to my upper lash line and not the waterline on the bottom, because I also sometimes want a black liner that doesn't transfer down. Sometimes I don't like when the eyeliner is so smudgy or so pigmented that it just kind of bleeds everywhere. Again, subscribe. I will keep you guys updated. I'm just gonna go ahead and set that with this Bark shade from Cosmic Brushes palette, and then I'll curl my lashes and we'll test out this new mascara. I got the tubing mascara from Caliray, their Come Hell or High Water. I've heard such good things about this, and I am such a fan of tubing mascaras. If you are a lazy girl and hate removing mascara, you need to try a tubing mascara. Let me set the eyeliner, curl my lashes, and then we'll test out the Caliray. Alright, let's go ahead and try out this mascara. So it says easy roll off removal, volumizes, curls, and conditions, zero smudge, and life proof. Beautiful and buildable from the first stroke. A lot of the tubing mascaras that I've tried are a little bit more lengthening or separating, like the e.l.f. tubing mascara. That one's really good, but it's not super dramatic. And the Milani one, it can be very dramatic, but it also is very wet, so it can get really clumpy quickly. It's interesting because the brush of this is super fluffy, and a lot of the tubing mascaras, I think actually all of the tubing mascaras that I've tried have had plastic brushes. So let's try this out. I did get the mini size, by the way. The wand is usually longer. Okay, so right off the bat, I can tell it's a little bit of a drier formula. I'm getting a lot of volume. Really nice, but it's not getting spidery. I also like the brush. It's straight, which I actually like because my eyes, I don't know if I just have a weird shaped eye, but a lot of the curves on mascara wands just do not fit my eye. So I like that this one just, you don't even have to worry about it. And it's not too fat where you can't get these tiny lashes in the inner corner. Sometimes with these more fluffy, volumizing wands, it's almost way too big because then you can't even get your lashes without making a complete and utter mess. I like how it looks, but it's not holding my curl the best. I don't know if you can tell, but they're already starting to fall a bit. It's not a deal breaker. A lot of tubing mascaras do not hold a curl. Honestly, the only mascaras that really hold a curl on my very straight downward pointing lashes are waterproof mascaras. So it's not a deal breaker. I do still wear tubing mascaras even though they don't hold the curl because they're so easy to remove. But just something to mention, I will try recurling my lashes after it's dried a bit. I'll see if I can build it. A lot of times tubing mascaras are a one and done type of formula. Yeah, I think it's building a bit. I like how volumizing and dramatic this is, but also it seems to be giving some good length too. It's dramatic without being super clumpy. And again, I will put wear and removal notes in the description box, so if I notice it flaking, smudging, I don't anticipate that to be the case, but if for some reason it does, I will write a note, and I will also let you guys know how it removes if it does indeed come off in the little tubes. I'm gonna let that dry a little bit, and then I'm gonna try to recurl them just because I do feel like I have lost a little bit of the curl, but first impressions, I think it's really nice. I like how black it is. I like the wand, how it's not pokey. I don't like spiky, pokey wands. And I like how volumizing it is while still giving some good length. I do think it can get a little clumpy, but that's just kind of the name of the game when it comes to a volumizing formula. So again, I'm gonna let this dry a bit and see if we can recurl it, because if this can hold a curl, I would be very impressed. I did try to recurl the lashes, but it wasn't really working that well. The formula is a little too sticky. I have two blushes. I don't have a new bronzer, but this blush from Huda Beauty is a little bit more of like a bronzer type of thing, so maybe we'll use that around the perimeter. And then I have the Milk Makeup Jelly Blush. What is this even called? Cooling Water Jelly Tint, and maybe we'll use that more on the apples of the cheeks. So let's try this out. I have used this before, once or twice, and so far I really like it. This one is one of the newer shades that she launched with her Icy Nude palette, I think it's called. This one is in the shade Latte. It's like a reddish brown color. I love the packaging. Super cute and chunky but small. You get a little doe foot applicator. It is a liquid, but I haven't noticed it picking up my foundation or anything underneath. So you can see it does have a lot of rosiness to it, which I really like. I think it's a really beautiful color. Blends out super easily, and I like that it dries down all the way. It dries down, but it has a little bit of a sheen to it. I didn't notice it so much on the skin, but while I was swatching this, I noticed that it has a little bit of a pearlescence to it, which is really pretty, but it doesn't have any discernible glitter or sparkle or anything. So yeah, it is a little bit more rosy than I normally go with my bronzer, but I think it works. If you're in a time crunch and you really wanted to just add a little bit of color and definition to your face, I think you could definitely get away with this. I don't know how it's gonna look on the forehead, but we'll try. I personally really love blushes like this that are sort of red, sort of brown. I just feel like they look so natural. Let me try to apply some on the back of my hand and work my brush into the pigment. Yeah, that works really well too. You get a little bit more control that way. It almost gives a sunburnt sort of look because of that rosy undertone. So I think this will be a really great blush in the summertime, especially for me personally. I love reaching for blushes like this. I don't know if I personally will use it as a bronzer in the winter just because it is a little bit more red, like I said, than I normally go. But I really do love the tone. I think it's really unique. I think it's really flattering, and I like the formula. It blends out really easily. It doesn't pick up the product underneath. I like how it dries down, so I think it's really good. Just adding a little bit to my neck just to make everything sort of blend together. I'm a sucker for a more like bronzery type blush, so if you are too, I think you'd really love this shade. And again, I think the formula is really, really great, especially for a liquid blush. They can be a little bit more difficult to use, but this one is really nice. It's not patchy, and that's the biggest problem I usually find with liquids. They usually can get a bit patchy, but this one is a great formula. And the other one I picked up is the Viral Milk Cooling Water Jelly Tint. I had to. I actually was not planning on picking this up, but when I saw it in store and I started sort of playing around with it, it's so fun. Boop, boop, boop. I started playing around with it and I liked the way that it looked on my skin as I was swatching it more than I thought I was going to. It gives you a stained sort of a look. I have tried this on my skin, but not on top of foundation. I've just worn it on bare skin and it looks so natural. It kind of gives you a popsicle coming from within, soft K-beauty-esque type of blush look. And I like that it stains so it wears really, really long. It's such a thin formula. It doesn't look like makeup on your skin. Literally just looks like your skin. I also really love the color of this one. This one is in Spritz. It's a really pretty, almost neon coral color, which just livens up the complexion and looks really healthy. It feels a little bit cold as you're applying it, which I like. And I have put this on my lips as well, and it does stain them and it looks really pretty. It's not patchy and not overly drying or anything like that. You can see it just adds a really pretty flush to the cheeks, and it is applying really nicely over top of this foundation. I like that you don't have to have foundation underneath though. So on like a quick and easy no makeup day, I think I'll be reaching for this quite a bit just because it does look so natural. It is so long wearing, and I think it's just a really fun product. If you've ever tried the Undone Beauty, what are they called? Water tints, I think. This is very similar. The effect on the skin is very, very, very similar. That watercolor popsicle stained effect. The only difference is the Undone Beauty, the texture is different. Obviously, it's not this jelly consistency, but it does feel cooling as you apply it, just like this one does. So if you are on a budget and you don't want to get the milk one, I would suggest maybe checking out the Undone Beauty. I don't know if they still make them. I think they do. The formula, the effect is very, very similar on the skin. All right, let's go ahead and set the makeup. The box is sort of mangled, but I picked up the Huda Beauty Easy Bake setting powder. I got the little one, it's called the Baby Bake, and I got the shade Pound Cake. I didn't want to get the full one in case I didn't end up liking the formula. So it's kind of a weird container. You pull the top up and then you twist and the product is in there. So it's a little bit of a pain to get out, I'll be honest. It's not my favorite packaging, but whatevs. I don't think I'll ever use this little puff. It's kind of hard. I have tried this powder. I think it's really nice. It's very, very blurring on the skin. And even on my dry skin, I don't find it to be too drying. It doesn't make my skin look crepey. I don't know though if I like it better than my Sigma powder. This Sigma Soft Focus setting powder is my favorite, more heavy duty, baking, flawless airbrush setting powder. That's one of my all-time favorite powders, and I don't know if this one is better than that. I think it's similar. I almost feel like the Sigma has a little bit more pigment to it, so it sort of adds coverage. This has a slight pigment, but not as much, but I've only used it once or twice. So far, I like it, but I did notice by the end of the day, my skin was looking a little bit dry. It's worth mentioning that, of course, it is fall, and the weather has been a little bit colder, so my skin has been a little bit drier. So this might be something that I reach for a lot more in the summer months. It blurs out the pores, so it's a nice powder. I don't know if it's as amazing as everyone was making it seem online, but I don't think it's bad at all. It is very fragrant though, so beware. It smells kind of fruity, oddly. I think it smells good. It's just, if you don't like fragrance in your makeup products, you are not going to like this. I'm glad that a lot of brands are offering minis like the Caliray, like this Huda Beauty, because it gives you a chance to try out the product without investing in the full size. That way you're not wasting money and you're not wasting product as well. I'm gonna add a little bit of a powder bronzer just to tone down the red a little bit. This is just a little contouring duo from Essence. I don't have a new lip liner, so I'm just gonna pop on my Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the shade Wherever Walnut. I will say that Summer Friday's Lip Butter Balm has stayed on really well. The next thing I picked up is the Kulfi Lassi Lips Staining Lip Oil. I got mine in the shade Caramel, which is just a gorgeous brownie nude. And I am such a fan of tinted lip oils that stain. I love the Romand Juicy Lasting Tints. This one in the shade 23 Nucadamia is my favorite. Ooh, it's so good. So I'm hoping this formula is similar. Oh yeah, it feels so good. Very watery on the lips. It's a little bit thinner than the Romand if you've tried those, but the shade of this is perfect for every day. The applicator is okay, but it's not super flexible. I wish it had a little bit more bend to it, but that's just me being nitpicky. I love the pigment level. It's not too sheer. Ooh, it feels so thin on the lips, very oily. It kind of feels like the Tower 28 lip glosses if you've tried that. Very watery almost. I'll put a note in the description box on how it wears, but it looks really pretty. I like the shine. I like the color. Hopefully that wears well. The last thing I picked up is the Brow Harmony Flexible Lifting Gel from Rare Beauty. Everybody raves about this, so I wanted to give it a shot. The brush is super teensy tiny, but very fluffy. So let's see how it works. So it feels a little thicker, but not to the point where it feels goopy or anything like that. I can tell that it's separating my brow hairs nicely. I like that the brush is combing through. It's not removing any of my brow product underneath, which is great. And it is a fully clear gel, so it's not adding any pigment, but it's also not adding any white residue or anything like that. I love this brush. It's combing through all of my brow hairs. So I think my camera cut off while I was talking about the brow gel, but I was basically just saying that I like how undetectable this brow gel looks in the brows, not shiny, and it doesn't leave a white residue. It feels like it dried down, but it's not sticky. I love how the brush picks up just the right amount of product. It doesn't pick up too much, but it also coats the brows really nicely with just the perfect amount of gel. And I don't know, I just really like how fluffy and feathery it looks. Like everything else, I'll put a note in the description box if I notice my brow hair is falling, it's not holding super well, but so far so good. I'm actually really impressed. So you guys, that was my little Sephora VIB sale haul. Let me know what products you picked up during the sale, if you did pick up any. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I hope you all are doing so well. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, and also please consider subscribing to my channel. It really means so much to me. I love you guys so much, and I'll catch you in my next video.